Hello everybody, and welcome back to our Dark Souls 3 guide, walkthrough, and item collection, and whatnot, and what have you. We are about to enter the Catacombs of Carthus, spooky land full of skeletons. Done a little bit of rearranging. We swapped out the Pyro Ring for Havel's Ring, and we've gone with the Blessed Claymore in the right hand and the Pyromancy Flame +3 in the left hand now. And the reason for that is the Blessed Weapon will cause skeletons with white eyes to not come back after being killed by one. So, perfect example. We have a white-eyed skelly boy right here. And the reason why I did the Claymore, not the Astora Greatsword, is because Greatswords won't actually break the skeletons. Ultra Greatswords will actually shatter them, and you'll have to wait for them to reform before you can actually do anything. I actually don't even need to use Claymore for like a majority of this place. It's only for the ones that actually will come back. So I'm actually just going to use the Astora. We will be getting use out of the Astora Greatsword later. The ones without heads that hold their sword like that, they will parry you when they are holding their sword like that. So, just as a note, unless you want a scimitar through your chest cavity, it's probably in your best interest to just not attack them when their swords are up. Alright. Also, only the skeletons with white eyes will come back, so implying that, you know... Actually, I don't know if they could parry a heavy swing. They can't. Okay, cool. I know that the Astora, or like the Ultra Great Swords, I believe, if I recall correctly, cannot be parried. They just have too much force behind them to be parried. I could be wrong, but I believe that is the case. Now, after dispatching our skeletons, there was a stairway down that we are not going to use because it leads to a room we're going to end up in anyways. You'll see a couple of places like this that have like a switch. If you step on them, they will shoot flaming arrows. We're going to try and avoid those, as unnecessary damage is something we should always try to avoid in a Dark Souls game. Soul packet. To the right here, walk into a big room, skeleton at the far end. But there is this little archway, which actually has another white-eyed skeleton in. We can just kill him, ignore the fact that he's coming back, because he's not going to, because we killed him with a blessed weapon. You can actually, if you really, really want to, you can actually just two-hand your shield and just hit them with that if you're still using the blessed shield. It's a bit cumbersome, but it's possible to be done. So we grabbed one of the pyromancy tomes. These guys are quite obnoxious. They like to jump around quite a bit. They do a lot of bleeds build up, a lot of bleed stagger. It's just not fun had by anybody. Now, if you had gone down the stairway here, everything in Carthus is all, the Catacombs of Carthus is all based around bleed. The Carthus Rouge actually applies bleed, but if you had gone down the stairs, you'd have to deal with a couple more skeletons, which, like, you could have done, but you also would have missed your Pyromancy Flame, or your Pyromancy Book, various other things. 2 more Titanite shards. Walking through this room over here will yield to more skeletons, which by now you should know aren't that actually tough. Now, if you had talked to Henri after defeating the Deacons of the Deep, Henri should be at the bottom of the steps here, looking for Horus.
Oh, hello. Have you seen my... Yeah, Poppy, pick that antique made of...
Which obviously you don't know where Horus is, so you just tell her no. You walk out here, there's a gem lizard. You don't even have to kill this one, it'll just jump off the side of the cliff. There's archers on the far wall. I don't believe there's any items over there with them. No. So you can just ignore them. Now, if you had looked, you'll notice there's a giant walkway that we're going to be going down next, but however, there's also a nice convenient little alcove above the walkway there. Now there's reason for that. One that we're going to get into very soon. When we walk down this walkway, we're going to do two things. We're going to just run, grab this item to the left, and then we're just going to keep on running, and then just immediately get to the left-hand side. Because a ball of skeletons will come by. And a lot of people would be like, oh, it's a ball of skeletons, it's done. Nope. These balls of skeletons will keep rolling back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth until you kill the skeleton responsible for conjuring it, which would be this one with the hat. And then afterwards, when it crashes into the grate or a wall, it'll break. So, free undead bone shard for killing a skeleton with poor fashion decisions. Over here, we'll have a couple more white-eyed skeletons. And a parry skeleton. These ones throw little, like, fire bombs that eke out soul dregs, which kind of hurt. Not super bad, but, you know, unnecessary damage, if possible, as I jump into one. And typically, the best way to do them is to not get hit and then avoid the skulls, but I just figured it's, at this point, we've got so much HP and so much armor and whatnot, we can take a couple hits. Now, the ones that are tied shut like this have soul dregs in them. So you want to avoid breaking those, and there's also pressure plates, but we can bypass like all of this by going here, grabbing the Carthus milk ring, and just walk your way back out. That's all you need to do. Ignore it. There's another switch on the floor here that will trigger more arrows. And then there is this big skeleton who has white eyes. So we're going to ignore his attacks. Well, not ignore. We're going to try to. You can also trigger the flaming arrows and then just step out of the way and then watch as the flaming arrows hit them. But if you're going to do that, be careful, as once then he is a white-eyed skeleton, so you need to get the killing blow with the blessed weapon, or else he's going to come back. Around the corner here, we have more pots that release more dregs, and another skeleton. And then I believe this one might be white-eyed. Nope. Either way, cut him down like the rest. Moving forward, this is a bit of a fight. Nice to trigger and then get some extra damage off the trap. The reason why they go invisible when they're rolling is due to the Carthus milk ring. So if you want that nice little, I'm gonna roll around and kind of fade out of the sight, it doesn't decrease your sign or your sound, or like make NPCs not know where you are. But if you're just rolling constantly, it can kind of disorient some enemies in PvP. There's a second skeletal ball that we're just going to ignore, because here is the first Carthus bonfire. Going to rest at this bonfire. It'll reset the skeleton ball. And we are going to run. And we are going to run immediately, slightly down, and then back up, and then to the left, as there's a couple of rats at the bottom that will trigger when you start running down. We're going to actually completely ignore the ball for the time being. There's actually only hit one of those rats. There's typically, I believe, 3. And over here, we have another rat. And another one of the big rats. Oh, I think he's dead. And then from there, we're going to walk back here. Now, worthy of note, there is a bunch of the slimes on the ceiling. They will drop down and attack you, and then there's also bone wheels at the end of the hallway. So instead of grabbing that item, we're just going to walk right past it, let the slime show up. And then we're going to create flush in our slimes. Like I said, not really worth it based on the souls they give. It's a little bit more than they did in the cathedral, but with how many times those things have landed on me, it is just a shred of pure catharsis to just get rid of them. And if you ever got just absolutely destroyed by bone wheels in Dark Souls 1, which would not be surprising because they are significantly more powerful in Dark Souls 1 than they are in Dark Souls 3, here's your chance to get a little bit more enjoyment out of eliminating them, because they don't do nearly as much damage. They don't stagger constantly. They can still drop their wheel as a shield though. There's another slime right there that's going to drop down. And then also there's going to be 2 more slimes, one placed directly above the item as a bait. You're going to ignore both of them, and then kill them, and then grab the item. Now, we are going to go and invite invasion upon us. And there's a easy way to deal with it, and then there's a hard way to dealing with it. So going down this path while you are embered will yield, I believe, prism stones, if I recall. No, it's an ember, which is probably good, because we may or may not need to use that. And then on our way back up, we have Night Slayer Sorig. He's wielding the Fume Ultra Great Sword. He started off with a backstab, and now there's a couple of ways of dealing with him. You can either try and fight him directly, and he's got an Ultra Great Sword, so he's kind of tough. Or you can kind of just lure him back and forth into the skeletons. You can't parry him, and he does have a hell of a range and does quite a bit of damage. He's got a lot of poise as well. Anytime he does that stomp, he's going to follow it up with an attack that is not going to be like blockable, really. Like, you can't break him out of that guard very easily. The Fume Ultra Great Sword also has a lot of range to it. It's a big, literally just a big stick with stone on it. You can avoid the damage and kill him. He will give you the Night Slayer ring and the My Thanks emote. If you die to him, he will still give you the My Thanks emote, I believe, if I recall. But you won't get the Night Slayer ring. You'll have to wait till later for that. Another one of the annoying Carthus skeletons. The jumpy, bleedy boys. I'm just gonna hack through him. And then there is an invisible wall right here. At the top of the steps, there's going to be another Carthus bleedy boy. This one with white eyes. So we're gonna want to use our holy weapon, at least to finish him off. These guys are parryable, and they're pretty susceptible to a lot of things, but I don't like them at all. They just do so much damage with the blood loss. And they're also very just agile. They're kind of hard to deal with. It's unfortunate because this is by far not the last one that we'll have to deal with. But that one's not coming back. You have the Grave Warden's Ashes. Up ahead here, we have a large Titanite shard. We're finally getting to the point where we're going to start finding them. There is a skeleton with a bow over there, a skeleton with the hat to the right that's controlling the ball, and then there is this guy. We're gonna just pull the one so we don't have to deal with multiple. Alright. It bothers me immensely that I am one hit off of being able to just one-shot these, or like R1 spam these guys to death. Oh well. The majority of this fight is actually, the majority of the Catacombs of Carthus is basically over. Instead of going after the guy with the hat, we're going to go around him. We're going to take out the guy with the bow. Because we don't need him shooting us when we're trying to take down the guy with the hat. Grab the Carthus Rouge here. Avoid that arrows that come from that. You can actually, once again, just kind of cheese some skeletons from here. Doesn't always work, but, you know, it's still fun to watch them burn. Not a whole lot of souls, so it's not really worth it. And we can kill the one with the hat. And because we killed the one controlling the ball will then shatter, and out comes a crab. This is the only crab in the game that will apparently follow you everywhere. I've not tested, I've been told. I believe it was on a Vati video. But I used to kill him every single time, but it's not really worth it. So I just kind of let him do what he wants. Down here we will have a crystal lizard. I believe twinkling or a fire? Fire, yeah. And then ahead we have another one of these guys, which you can either kill in an honorable fight or just push him off the edge. Yellow bug pellet will actually be useful in the next area. And then we're going to go and open the most unknown shortcut known to man. Because you typically don't even think that's actually even necessary. Now, grabbing the items here, you have a couple of skeletons that'll form, but you'll happen to notice that there's a lot of skeleton bones here. There's a reason for this. You're going to want to hug the wall on the right here, and you can climb up over here, as this is the second place where Henri is.
Ah, hello. Oh, yes, I
We
thought...
still haven't seen Horus. Coincidentally, Horus is right down there. It's literally just below where Henri is, but you can go and find Horus and then kill Henri, and then Henri at the end of the storyline, if you decide to go not with the Lord of Hollows, will actually go and kill themselves down there, as opposed to on the graves next to, or go, they don't really kill themselves, they go hollow. But to show you why we wanted the hug to the right, because the moment you step on this bridge, the rest of the skeletons form. But like all of these bridges that you'll come to find, we can actually just attack it and just sit here and wait and laugh as all the skeletons just fall to their deaths. Free handful of souls. You could alternatively drop down from where Henri is there, and then walk your happy ass over here. We are going to go now to fight the boss of the area, High Lord Wolnir, but we will not be done with the Catacombs quite yet. So whilst this could have been a very, very short video, it's not going to be as short as that. Now, we are going to have our gold pine resin equipped for this, because it'll just increase our damage by enough. Wolnir is actually inside this cup. Oh, this may or may not be true. But you touch the goblet, it ports you into his boss room. Don't go for the item, it's bait. Wolnir is actually in the shadows. around the item. So we're gonna go Divine Resin. We're gonna two-hand. We're gonna heavy swing. And the trick to Wolnir is to break his bracelets. He may look very intimidating, and don't get behind, like in his, don't get like down in his smoke, because that actually will do massive amounts of damage. It'll just constantly drain your health. But what we're going to do is we're going to break his right bracelet first, his left bracelet second, and he will climb up, so make sure that you're keeping pace with him so that way you don't fall behind. He has a couple of different moves. He can pull out his sword, he can summon a bunch of skeletons, he will typically just kind of attack and just kind of do whatever, but that's it. That's Wolnir. One of the easiest bosses in Dark Souls 3. You just kill him, get the soul of the High Lord, disappears. And yeah, that's the Catacombs of Carthus. It's super fast, super sweet, super easy. We are actually going to go back to Firelink for two reasons now. One, we are going to spend our souls, and we are also going to transfuse the boss's soul. Because the boss's soul can go into a pretty decent weapon, or a pyromancy, which is, you know, it's a alright pyromancy. It's not ridiculous, but I mean, I don't think I'll be using our Wolnir's sword, and since I am going to be using pyromancies, I may as well show you what it looks like. Let's get rid of Fireball. Black Serpent. And then it just creates a path on the ground of black fire. It's pretty decent, but it's not amazing. Just kind of a nice little neat pyromancy. We're going to get 2 more points of endurance, and then we're going to shoot for a third attunement slot next, which I believe is at 17. I'm going to give her the Umbral Ash. We're going to purchase from her at least 5 Undead Hunter Charms. We can buy the Undead Legion armor now, as well, as since we've killed that. And then I believe Wolnir's crown too. I thought Wolnir's crown. Yeah, Wolnir's crown right there. Not actually amazing, it's just kind of there. Yeah. I have been working on the side, considering I don't think I'll be using the Claymore anymore past this. I've been working on the side. I've been trying to get a Lothric Knight sword up. Store is probably still going to come first, but the Lothric Knight sword is ridiculous because it will get S scaling in strength if you make it heavy, S scaling in dex if you make it sharp, S scaling in a lot of things, that basically anything you want it to use it for. But seeing as I don't have that anymore, we're actually going to spend the Titanite shards that we've gotten, since we got a lot of them now. We're going to upgrade the Black Bow of Paris. And that'll be for a later thing. You know what? Since we have so much of it, and we have been using the shield this entire time, let's get our shield up a little bit. Because as you upgrade a Blessed Shield, it actually does increase how much or how quickly it heals. Like a plus 10 Blessed Shield will heal faster than a plus 1 Blessed Shield. So as long as we've got the souls for it, we may as well. Now we can give, or at least I believe we can give him the Carthus Pyromancy Tome, which unlocks Carthus Flame Arc, and I believe Acid Surge or Poison Mist, one of the two. Carthus Beacon. We're also going to want to buy Flash Sweat while we're here. But we can't give him the Grave Warden
I'm
Pyromancy
afraid I
Tome.
cannot access Pyromancy Tome.
He doesn't like it because it contains nothing but like dark pyromancies.
What?
So now that he's done, Wolnir's done. We grabbed some Undead Hunter Charms. There's a reason for that. Got some new pyromancy. Burn our Undead Bone Shard. Don't think we have an Estus Shard. No, we don't. Then we're gonna travel back to the High Lord Wolnir bonfire. And from here, we're going to do the entrance. We're going to go from here to the entrance of the Demon Ruins. Oh, and if you didn't grab the item from the Wolnir boss fight, it'll appear on a body over here in the corner, as a heads up. But we grabbed it, so we don't have to worry about trying to grab it again. Now we are going to run back outside the Wolnir boss fight. We are going to climb down here, and we are going to break the bridge again. This is one of 2 times that we will be breaking a bridge. Because after the bridge settles, you can then climb down the bridge as a ladder. On the other side, oh, you know what? I actually probably should have upgraded the Claymore. Because we actually will be using it down here. Oh well. Down here is another one of these guys. This one hits significantly harder. And we don't have a Sigurd here to help us out. Also, there's skeletons everywhere. Skeletons will hit him, but they unfortunately won't do significant damage. Just kind of try and avoid his fire. If he jumps, avoid that. We're just trying to kill him. Like, this is another enemy that won't respawn after he dies, but he can be a bit troublesome. Now, because the rest of the skeletons are here, will actually yield, or will be white eyes. We're going to have the Claymore still ready, but now we're going to use it, because up here, now that the demon is dealt with, is another box. And this one, as you can see from the chain, is also a mimic. So, for the sake of the argument here, we're going to equip the Crystal Sage's Rapier. This is the reason why we bought Undead Hunter Charms. Another chance at getting the Symbol of Avarice. But, first, it's going to give us the Black Blade. No symbol. So we're just going to hit him. Let him close up. Throw another one. Wait till his teeth curl back, which, by the way, I believe are fingers. Kind of creepy. We're gonna hit him. And we're gonna repeat this until either A, we find the Symbol of Avarice, or B, we run out of Undead Hunter Charms. There's a mimic. There's a section later which has multiple mimics, so if we don't have it by then, we can always use it to farm for the Symbol of Avarice. And our last one. No symbol. Alright. Hey, there you go, Symbol of Avarice. It's literally the mimic head. It's very, very heavy. It's 10.5 or like 10.5 pounds or 10.5 weight, and it constantly will drain your HP while wearing it. But it also increases your item discovery by 100, which is absolutely ludicrous. And it also increases how many souls you get, which is quite useful. Where did my shield go? There it is. I probably should have a helmet on. So now that the mimic is dead, the demon is dead, we got the soul from the demon, which we can turn into a fist weapon or an axe that does like an AoE explosion. We're going to re-equip the Blessed Claymore. There's a couple more items down here. Every skeleton that's down here is a white-eyed skeleton. That's what happens when you hit them with an ultra great sword. They just break apart and you can't actually attack them until they reform, which is the main reason why I decided to not bless the Astor great sword. But killing them with the blessed weapon makes this part significantly easier. One more to go. Alright. Now we officially won't need the Blessed Claymore for anything else. To the best of my knowledge. If we run forward here, we will actually run into Cornyx's blindfold and the Witch's Ring, which is the improved version of the Pyromancy Ring. Which we may as well wear because we don't need the Claymore on anymore. And we can light this bonfire, and this is the first bonfire to the Demon Ruins. So for final cleanup on this, we are going to teleport back to Firelink. There's no new NPC updates really, but we are going to spend our souls on levels. I can't even level. I might sell some soul packets for that. Actually, now that I think about it, there's one thing we can grab here. Transposition, either the Demon's Fists, which are kind of fun to use, or the Demon's Great Axe. Doesn't really matter. You can even use all of the boss souls if you really want to, and you don't want the actual weapons and whatnot. But if you're going for completion, there is actually an achievement to have every single item that's transposable by a boss soul, so it's kind of worth doing. Patches up here has an emote called the Patches Squat, and that's about the only thing that's new from Patches. That's it. That's about it. 100% guaranteed. Promise you. Yeah, that's it for the Catacombs. Next episode, we will be going through the unfortunate, the Smoldering Lake Demon Ruins, whatever you want to call it. It's a bit unfortunate because it's kind of like a little bit further along in the game. Like, you don't have to do it when I'm doing it, but it is definitely worth it. You get a lot of things out of it, and is definitely going to make the later parts of this a little bit easier. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.